Okay, I think we will start. The time is here to start our GreenSmart sustainability arena in NMBU. I will speak in English, but I have some PowerPoints in Norwegian. So I'm trying to accommodate all possibilities. We wrote the application in Norwegian, so some of the expressions are in Norwegian, but I will translate. I'm very happy that we are able to meet here in person, because being together, and we know that 80% of our communication is body language. So it is not, that's not as visible on a Zoom meeting as it is when we are here in person. And many of us have never met. So it is important for our networking that we actually meet and mingle, talk to each other, and have a good time at this kickoff. Many of us are wondering, what is this sustainability going to be? And maybe I'm one of those who know more about that than anybody, but I still don't know what we will achieve. Because this is a teamwork, and we will all contribute and make this into a successful arena. I know that NMBU has high hopes for us. We are the only arena that has all the 7 faculties included. And in addition, we have Læringssenteret and Vitenparken and Pådriv. And that means that we are 10 partners that are going to achieve our goals together. And that is an achievement in itself. So I will start off by thanking all of you for wanting to contribute, because I think we will be a success. And I will also have some housekeeping issues in the start. I've been informed that we can not wear masks if we keep 2 meters apart. If you think that's difficult, then you put on a mask. But when you're sitting down, that's okay, as far as I have understood. We could have been 100 people involved. Oh. And in this room, I think we could have been 50. But we are only 16 or 17, 18. So this is totally within the rules at the moment. And but we are streaming this for the benefit of those who cannot be here. One of the work package leaders, no, not one of the work package leaders, one of the participants is abroad and not able to participate. Others may be in quarantine or other issues. So we are streaming this and making a recording so that you're all aware of that. If you have any objections to that, then you have to tell us. And that will be a good way of distributing our message too. And it's one of the things that we have promised to do when we have seminars, that we stream them and make them available for the public, both nationally and internationally. So in that sense, it's good that we are keeping it in English too. So that was the housekeeping things. But before I start my presentation, I would like us to present ourselves, because, as I said, many of us do not know each other. But we have a room full of resourceful people, and it is good to see who we are, hear the name, and very briefly what we can contribute with. So I will start just to give you an idea. So my name is Trine Voslef Eide. I'm a professor in plant sciences in the Faculty of Biosciences, and I teach biotechnology and urban agriculture. And you may find that very diverse subjects, but the common denominator is sustainability, because that's what I think is important. And my profession is in horticulture. Solveig?
Managing Director at Vitenparken since 1st of January, so pretty fresh. My background is from communication and economics, and I will be leading the work package that has to do with dissemination and communication of this project. Looking forward to it very much. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Helen French. I'm the representative of MENA and leading the work package on water and nutrient in the circular, not circular economy, but and I'm also the center leader of Earth Rescue, which is a new SFI that started in November last year.
Hello, my name is Anna-Marie Nicolaisen. I'm a researcher and teacher in agroecology at BioVit. And I also do research on several urban agriculture projects and now also organic food in school canteens, which are projects we will bring into the Bærekraftsarena. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elisabeth Iversen. I'm from Realtech and the Institute of Teacher Education and Educational Sciences, and my contribution to this is through the school garden, skolehage, and also how to learn in an outdoor education environment. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Nils Sanne. I'm working at the business school or Handelshøyskolen, and yeah, my background is traditionally economist, and I teach mainly the entrepreneurship and the innovation program. And yeah, samfunn og økonomi is my
society and economy.
Yes.
Yeah.
My name is Jan Lykke, and I'm at the veterinary faculty. Recently moved here. Yes, and I'm a toxicologist, professor in toxicology, and I'm teaching chemical food safety and also pharmacology and toxicology. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hugo Nielsen, and my background would be as an architect, a fairly new one. And I've specialized in the overlap between urban development and artificial intelligence. And I'll be helping coordinate and assisting Trina, as well as, yeah, looking forward to getting to know all of you.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. My name is Åsmund Bunkholt. I have actually several positions. Mainly, or my main occupation is managing director of Trefokus, which are dealing with the urban sustainable development all over Norway. Then I'm operating chairman of the board at Pådriv, which is a partner in this project. I also have a minor position at NTNU as an assistant professor there, working with experts in team, as it's called, which we also use here now on NMBU, or inspired here on NMBU. For my last position is working together with Trine. And we have developed this new master program on urban agriculture, which we are launching now in August. So, very briefly.
Hi, everybody. My name is Roberta Cucca. I work in Landsam, Birek. I'm an urban and environmental sociologist, and I especially focus on the social dimension of sustainability, and I will coordinate the working package on sustainable housing.
Hello, everybody. Oops. My name is John Morgan. I'm working in Realtech, water and environment. I'm an agricultural engineer, professor in kretsløpsteknologi, teaching within life cycle assessment and solid waste technology. And my research interest is mainly anaerobic treatment.
My name is Ebenezer Asha. I'm actually representing Professor Tomasi, but I'm also an associate professor at Realtech, and I'm a structural engineer And we are seeking to promote timber as a construction material in terms of building sustainable facilities like buildings and bridges. And so, having seen that timber is a panacea to the global warming menace, we think that we can contribute a lot in ensuring that, the greenhouse gases that are causing global warming can be curtailed. And so that's the contribution that we bring to the table, myself and Roberto. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Arve Heistad, and I'm representing Realtech as well. And I'm teaching water and environmental engineering. My background is in civil engineering and later on water treatment, wastewater treatment. And right now I'm working with wastewater treatment, decentralized systems with resource recovery, and a little bit on health risk assessment as well.
Now, last but not least, I'm Roland Kallenborn. I'm an organic entity chemist. I'm with the Faculty of Chemistry, Biotechnology and Food Sciences here at the campus. My focus is on environmental pollutant research, fate and risk assessment associated with release and variety of sources of organic environmental pollutants. So I will a little bit of a advocatus diabolo in this, and you are developing new methods, and I'm showing you that there's some issues associated with pollutants, maybe with this technology applied here. So, looking forward to this. Thanks.
So thank you very much, everybody. Is my microphone working? Yeah. As you can hear and see, we have a diverse group of specialists. And I'm very happy that you have joined us, and we have even more to offer with all the people that couldn't come for various reasons. June is a busy month, but this is a real pleasure for me to wish you all welcome. It's a great contribution of people, so thank you very much again. I think I will start my presentation and work from there. Yeah, I can see what I'm presenting if I go here. Okay, so I am the leader of, or heading this sustainability arena, and we call it Green and Smart Cities, grønne og smarte byer på norsk. And short we have GreenSmart, and we think that's quite a good acronym and self-explanatory. When we started constructing this arena, we started off with the National Center for Urban Agriculture, the NCUA, which has been in action for almost 2.5 years. We got seed money from NMBU to start this center. And all the 7 faculties at NMBU are in this, as well as Læringssenteret and Pådriv. And you will hear more about this later. We had a goal with the National Center for Urban Agriculture to start a master in urban agriculture in 2021. And we are actually doing that in August this year. We will be welcoming the first students in Urban Agriculture Master, where we will use new ways of teaching, or I will put it another way, new ways of enabling the students to learn, because that's the important thing. It's not what we teach, but what they actually learn. So having student active learning is important. And to help us with this, we have obtained a project from DIKU, the Direktoratet for internasjonalisering og kvalitetsutvikling I utdanningen. And this project started this year, in January this year, and it's called Master I urbant landbruk, transfaglig didaktikk for komplekse samfunnsutfordringer, TransDIK. And this master in urban agriculture is transdisciplinary, and I think I need to explain that that expression, because we talk about tverrfaglighet and we talk about transfaglighet. And when you have interdisciplinary within the university, when all faculties are working together, of course we have an interdisciplinarity in that. But when we also interact with the society outside the university, that's when it becomes transdisciplinary. We move outside of the university, and we find that this is really important, and you will see this through the day, I think, that the importance of this. And we have some complex challenges in society, often called wicked problems, that cannot be solved by just one type of expertise alone. You have to have several different expertises, like we have here, from veterinary science to civil engineering and all the other aspects which are important. And if you look at the figure, we have urban agriculture in the middle, and then we have 8 circles, which in this paper illustrates how the different aspects of urban agriculture comes into play. And this publication was an illustration of how you can use urban agriculture to combat poverty. And in this, they talk about education, they talk about urban planning, economic development, leisure activities, health, food security, environment, and social interactions. And all this is urban agriculture. And if anybody of you thought that urban agriculture is growing carrots, you see that the dimensions are much larger than that. So in a project that we have in Ås, where Petter Jensen is the coordinator, the EU project CEO Green for short, that is a project between Europe and China, and the circular system that we are using here is, okay, you can see my arrow. This is an apartment building, and we were going to do this in Fredrikstad, but we ended up doing it in NMBU. So this is the student housing in Kajaveien, with a pipeline across the road to Realtek, where we have a biogas reactor producing electricity and heat that we can use in a greenhouse that we're going to start constructing next week. And the greenhouse will also benefit from the CO2 that is produced from the methane gas which is being producing heat. And then the rest of the biogas reactor, called compostate, can be used either as slow-release fertilizers or as a composted growth medium, where we can grow food in the greenhouse, and then the food goes back to the apartment building, and there we have the circular system. So this is something that we are going to demonstrate here in Ås, and it will be an arena for both research and teaching, and the students will be allowed to do experiments that they design themselves. And in this greenhouse and in the lab, biogas lab, there will be ample opportunities for a lot of different students to work together and learn from each other. So we have high hopes for this. So this is now becoming part of this sustainability arena. This sustainability arena, GreenSmart, is more than urban agriculture and NCUA. It goes beyond that. It's, as you heard from the presentations, that we are talking about circular systems for and reuse of resources. In Norwegian, I say that I'm not talking about avfall, ressurser på avveie, because we can use them again. And unless we start doing that in a serious manner, we will run out of resources on this planet. So we are reusing biological reuse, including human waste, and that's where we challenge the authorities, because that's not allowed to do greenhouses, for vegetables at present. So we will have to show them that this is safe, and we intend to demonstrate that. And then timber and bricks and concrete and other waste from households and industry. And in addition to that, we have the social dimensions. That is an important part of this as well. The social interactions you saw from the previous, the circular system, all the things that can interact in an urban agriculture setting. And the etter- og videreutdanning, continued education is an important part. And as you can see here on the picture, this is from Copenhagen. It's bricks from old buildings, and there's an architectural firm that have specialized in reusing building materials. And actually, they say that it's not economically viable to make those bricks into single bricks, but you can reuse the whole parts of walls and then make mosaics like this. And this has become quite a fashion in Copenhagen to do it this way. So just as an example. As I said, it's not only the economics, it's also social. No, it's not only the recircular system of resources, it's also social and economic sustainability. And we will look at activities that will have a broad tilnærming. We will focus on social, environmental, and economic sustainability, and we will especially focus on humans, both individual and in society, when it comes to the social parts. And we have this is a picture from Dystejordet Andelsjordbruk here in Ås, where they were picking potatoes in 2019. So how is it organized? We have a working package 1, arbeidspakke 1, where the project management will happen, where I will be placed and Hugo will be placed and Osman is in that. And then we have 8 more work packages: urban, agriculture and society. We have school gardens, we have water, soil and nutrients in circular systems. We have resources and energy. We have society and economy. And we have sustainable constructions and transdisciplinary learning resources, and then dissemination and communication. And as you will see here, these are the work package leaders. Maria, sitting there, will be leader of work package 2. Linda Jolie will be the leader of work package 3. She's represented by Elisabeth, sitting there. She's going to present today. Helen is representing or leading work package 4. Work package 5 is Jorge from Realtech. He's coming later. He's delayed. He has some very urgent things that he has to be present somewhere. And Nils is leading the work package 6. Work package 7 is Roberta. Roberta, you should find a place. You can sit on the side here with me on the table. You shouldn't be one of the wallpapers. You are included in the group. And Mike Moulton is the work package from Læringssenteret. He's unable to be here today. And Solveig is the work package leader of the work package 9. And I'm not going to go into details on this, but because it's much the same that I just presented. But in addition to what I presented, you can see here which of the faculties that we thought could be involved in the different work packages. So all the work packages have more than one faculty involved or one partner involved, and this is not this list is not completed. This, I am sure that we will add many more, as we see here. Yeah, so this will be added on. I would like to take the opportunity to say that this arena is work in progress, because we are doing this together. So we have fulfilled all the obligations to make an application that was funded, but now starts to work, and we have to create this together. There are some milestones. To this year, we're going to establish the school garden. We'll hear about how the progress is there. And we will also start the CU Green demonstration site for recycling of biological resources with biogas and greenhouse. Next year, we're going to make a guideline for communes and regional governments, how they can use what we call in Norwegian plan- og bygningsloven, which is an act that deals with developments and building in society, to promote circular ways of thinking and use urban agriculture in the extended sense, actively when politicians locally and regionally are making politics in developments. Then we are also going to look at different ways of gaining revenue for the school gardens, and we'll finish an app for virtual demonstration of the circular system in CU Green. And we will use the CU Green as a case for a master course in innovation and entrepreneurship in Handelshøyskolen. And this is an example. I'm sure Elisabeth is going to show this. I'm not going to explain this to you, but this is the school garden planning going on. So this work package has reached the furthest. And all of you who haven't reached that far, don't worry, because we will make this together, as I said. In 2023, we will have the first graduation of the master in urban agriculture. So we will evaluate that. We will analyze social sustainability in regards to urban development and urban agriculture in parts of Oslo, which parts that has a lot of poverty. And we will have a guidance for recirculating building materials. And we hope that the first greenhouse, rooftop greenhouse, has been planned to be built in Norway with the support from us on the competence. In 2024, I mean, we hope that the implementation of the circular systems of CU Green has started in Longyearbyen and other Norwegian cities. We hope to have good solutions for production of bioenergy for several types of waste other than we have in 2021, that we have reached that. And we hope to have a new center for, what do you call that in English, Helen? Fremragende forskning, eller utdanning. Well, anyway, SF or SFI or SFU, or a new EU project that we have obtained that from this GreenSmart arena. And we also have to have a big end of sustainability arenas conference together with the other arenas. And all the years we will have seminars that will be streamed nationally and internationally. We will apply for resources for for research and have new grips on education. A very important part of this is network building, and this is why I wanted us to meet in person. Because we need to, actually, what I have seen and what we have written in the application is that people working on nearby arenas within the same faculty don't know about each other. And at the same time, we have ongoing work which is very close to each other in different faculties. So bridging these gaps is an important part of these sustainability arenas. So that's and so we will arrange things like speed dating in Vitenparken. You just imagine when we can all meet and we can invite everyone and say that if you are interested in this sustainability arena, please come to Vitenparken and we will have a speed dating and we'll try and facilitate that you get to know each other better. And then Pecha Kucha, I don't know whether you know what it is, but Vitenparken has arranged this for many years. And it's a competition where the audience actually decides who wins, and you have to show 20 slides and 20 seconds for each slide. So you have 400 seconds to convey your message, and it's quite challenging, I can tell you. And then we also will keep in good collaboration with the other 4 sustainability arenas, and I will tell you more about that when we see. When I present Siri Fjellheim's presentation. And we will have keep good contact and be hospitable towards students. This is an important part, to have students in this. And we will have transdisciplinary continued education courses. And we will work together with the Eik Idéverksted, the demonstration part of CU Green, and Ard Innovation to stimulate new ways of doing things and realization of innovation ideas. And my last slide is this. Usually when I give presentations, I start with this. But today I end with this because I would like you to look at the 17 sustainability goals of the UN in a new way. Maybe you have seen this before, but it's the circle of biosphere where 4 of the sustainability goals are placed, and then we have society where we have another 8 of the sustainability goals placed, and then 4 goals that has to do with economy. And then the goal number 17, partnerships, goes through the whole system as like an axis. And I think, and I firmly believe, that the work we are doing is contributing to all 17 goals through this partnership. So that's my message so far. Any questions? No questions. Okay. Then I give the floor to Hugo, and he will present himself. Do we need to swipe this with the? No, it's not on. Very soon. I'll just have some. Vi må jo gjøre ting sånn som det skal være.
It's on? There it is. All right. So I was given the opportunity to briefly talk about my expectations for this, and I'm very happy for the opportunity. As an architect, I am very good at nothing, but I am encouraged to always be curious and to sort of look for the consensus amongst the ones that do have the good answers to the questions that are important. And it makes me very excited to sort of hear all the different disciplines that are active here. Because I remember the first time that I realized that we divide at university into all these different fields, and we sort of end up in these tribes with these different languages, and we're all trying to describe the same reality. And I think, from my expectations, this really aligns with my hope that we can foster an environment where we sort of work through and always evolve and grow the connections and the communication between each other, so that we try out different arenas to always keep ourselves active in the discussion and link the different backgrounds and the different fields that we have. So the expectation would be that we effectuate the knowledge that is between all of us. And I very much hope that I can contribute with what I have as a background as an architect. But I'm very, very, very curious to learn everything that all of you are sitting on, and all of the things that you know. So that's really, really sort of what I wanted to say. It is always a very sort of it's a difficult thing to start up, but I'm very curious to see where we can go, and the communication part to link us together. And that is a process where we sort of need to lean in and be quite ambitious, I think. And I'm very happy to be part of such a project that has these sorts of ambitions, and that is actually linking up all these different fields. And I think for the complex problems that are ahead, there is no other solutions than starting to bring together these different tribes that we sometimes end up in, and find common ground. And I'm very, very happy to be part of it. So I'm looking forward to get to know all of you better, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Hugo. Remember that he is a resource that we can use.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So he's in 50% engaged on this arena, and he's ours. Okay?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just take
yes, Osman, you just yes. I'm sorry, Osman.
No
please
problem.
take the floor.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to be here, and nice to see you all, and it's very nice to meet physically. That's cool. I should just mention a little bit about other efforts or processes and projects that are interesting for us. Of course, the other arenas at the NMBU are interesting, obviously. But I'm mentioning very briefly something outside the NMBU. Also mention that Hugo has been a colleague of me for 1 year, approximately. So I know his capacity, and we can rely on him, actually. I think so. But anyhow, Trine mentioned Pådriv. And I'm going to say very briefly about Pådriv. I'm going to give you some more information by mail afterwards, instead of having a 30 minutes presentation. Pådriv is a partnership working with sustainable urban development. Started in Oslo, in Hovedbyen. Just now we are 44 partners there, and NMBU is one of them. It's a kind of special partnership because all the partners are equal in a way, just like in the UN. One nation, one vote. It doesn't matter whether you're a small company, whether you're official or public or municipality or whatsoever, all are equal. It's a partnership which has developed to be we call it an infrastructure for sustainable urban development. Just like the car needs roads, we think that we need a new way of dealing with all these complex problems and challenges. So this is the core of Pådriv in a way. Pådriv is established, started in Oslo, is now established as legal entities in Stavanger, Trondheim, Arendal, coming up in Narvik, probably in Tromsø. And the methodology has also been looked on from an international perspective. So just now the C40 network, which is 40 megacities, where Oslo is a partner as an innovative city, not a mega city. They are now looking at the same methodology to try that out actually in the C40 network. So I think this is interesting for us because what we are representing and dealing with will suit very well to solve or be a partner solving all the challenges in the cities. So that's one touch point. The other is Oslo municipality has established what they call an innovation district, or 3 innovation districts, where one is in Hovenbyen. The main point here is to do urban development based on competence, based on research, based on knowledge. So our or your knowledge is, of course, very interesting in realizing this innovation district. There are 2 main points. It's circular economy, and it's what they call the 15-minute city. That means you shall live, work, and get everything you need in a range of 50 minutes. So I think that's a good touching point for us as well. Just now we are, or Pådriv, the Innovation District, and several other partners, among NMBU as well, are establishing what we call a national zone for urban development. 2 of them actually, one in Hovenbyen and one in Nyhavna in Trondheim. The point with these zones is to, in a way, create a playground where we can test out solutions which might be outside the regulations or the general regulations. It might be technical things, social things, biological things, yeah, whatsoever actually. So these test zones, which we now are trying to establish, will be a very good arena for our arena to work together with. I should also mention, that's the last touch point, is on NTNU, they have 4 strategic efforts actually, and one of them is NTNU Sustainability, which is a kind of a system which are working then with sustainability in the broad context. And I think we can be, will be, shall be a very good counterpart and also a cooperative partner to NTNU Sustainability. So that's the last touch point. Of course, there are lots of other touch points, but this is at least some of them. So, very briefly.
Leave, Osman. I'd like to tell you one more thing about Osman. He did mention that he's 20% in BioVit at the moment, financed by the DQ project, and he is the course responsible for the urban agriculture courses that we are going to start in August.
Together with you.
Yes. But I've got too much on my hand, so I wasn't allowed by my faculty to be course responsible. So here's the course responsible. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm second, yes. And the reason Osman is so good at being facilitating this, amongst other things, is that you've been involved in experts in team in NTNU, which is a way of teaching there. So transferring that way of teaching to NMBU in our context, and in our context, in Norwegian we call it transfaglige samhandlingsgrupper. Transdisciplinary cooperation groups or whatever, because we can't use experts in teams. So that's NTNU's trademark. We would like to create our own, but it's very good to have Osman on board on this. And the DQ project is actually made to be an inspiration for all of NMBU and other universities in Norway. So that's the aim, that we actually facilitate new ways of student learning. Yeah.
And
So.
new ways of teaching, actually, as well.
Oh, yes.
So it's
it's
going to challenge us as well.
We will learn as much as the students, I think.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So I just wanted to add that, because that's also a resource that we have together. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have now well into the break. We're going to have a 15-minute break, and we're going to have that anyway, because whatever happens here today. We will have the breaks, because the mingling and the breaks is an important part. And we do have 30 minutes at the end that we can play around with. So before we start with the different work packages, we will have a 15-minute break. Now we will proceed with the presentations from the work packages. And some of them will be in English and some will be in Norwegian. And we will just have to bear with each other. And those that are in Norwegian, if there is something important that you do not understand, please raise your hand and ask, okay? We don't want you to fall off the wagon because we are speaking in Norwegian. We would like to include you. But it's a challenge to be told in the morning that maybe English would have been a good presentation language. Having said that, I've been told, housekeeping things again, I've been told that before your presentation you go to the table, the technical table behind there, and Marie is already getting ready, and so then Elisabeth will follow, and Helen, and Jorge will be represented by a video. So he's prepared a video, yeah. So we will just, without further ado, I'll give the word to Anne Marie Nicolaisen from BioVit, please.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know, we'll go up here maybe. Yeah, my name is Anna Marie Nicolaisen. I include Geir is my colleague. He's the leader of the agroecology group, and he also supports and will contribute to the Bærekraftsarena. Let me see. So we, in the agroecology group, have worked on action learning from 2000. We have a 2-year international master, phenomenon-based, focus on process, group-based project work in real situations. And in both food and farm systems, and from 2014, also on urban agriculture. We, in the first year of the master, the students would do explorative casework in groups, and for example in 2015 they went to look at the food system in the urban context in Trondheim, Bergen, Telemark and Oslo, 16 in Drammen, 17, Skien, Tønsberg, Drammen and Oslo. From this exploring approach we had the first years, 15 to 17, it became incorporated in and integrated with our own research and education when we joined Cultivating Public Spaces in November 2017. Where we are working on 2 modules on urban ag. And the Cultivating Spaces is a cooperation between several actors, both at and outside the university, and Solveig here and Vitenparken is one of the partners we work with, and also Landsam. So the focus there is similar to the question in AP Arbeidspakke 2 here. How can urban agriculture enhance the quality of life in a compact city, and how can urban agriculture be systematically integrated in urban public spaces in Norway, and thereby in the planning in the plan and bygnings plans. So yeah, the project structure, we are in module 3 and 6 with the students. So we worked further on this with the cases. The student worked on the same cases as we as researchers worked on in 2018. Then in 2019 we joined another cooperative project, ADAPT, Sustainable Adaptation, where we look at development of urban agriculture also in former brown brown areas, where we work together with Landsam here, brownfields, I'm sorry, that's it. So there we work on 2 cases. It's the former paper mill in Moss, Verket, which is going to be developed into a socially sustainable and resilient urban development, hopefully. Looking on the paper, something like this, or in the models. And also just across the fjord, Klosterøya at Skien. Here we also work with several other actors, so it's a real transdisciplinary project where people working on transportation and, of course, development of the area. And this drawing is small, but there are several types of gardens and initiative planned. For example, a fruit garden, and there is this plan of restaurants. And this is just next to a high school, so the students have also been involved. So added social and environmental value of urban ag is, we know something about it from cities, and of course we think some of the same benefits will be there for former brownfields. High school students involved in the area because they use this area now, so this is participatory, not just among the researchers, but also among the users in the area. In 2019, we were asked by the Akershus fylkeskommune to help improve the quantity of organic food in canteens in high schools. It's something they have been working on, or in general in Norway, they've been working on that for decades, a couple of decades, I think. They've had the goal of 15, and now I think they've just silently removed the goal because they think it's so hard to reach. But we help them develop models that hopefully can be used to improve that situation. And we're going to work this fall with the students on cases in high schools now in Viken, the larger region. So the students work on the urban cases, and specifically with the council in Oslo and different bydeler in 2019, and presented their work here and had interactive workshops with both stakeholders and other users. And the ones who worked with organic food in high school canteens also presented and had discussions here. And this project now will add to the Bærekraftsarena, and we worked on it in Akershus in 2019, Viken this year, and it looks like after the election it will be nationwide, because many of the parties that will win, probably, vote for free school food. So that was my presentation. I just want to say thank you very much to Trine for inviting us. We look very much forward to work with so many of you. I'm thinking of, so many. We already work with Vitenparken, Landsam. I'm thinking about the school gardens. Also in high schools, they need, and in general, the urban ag master. I think there are food is, of course, something, and both in the school gardens and in the canteens and in urban ag, you can teach and include any subject in the process of it. So I think it's, I look forward to that cooperation.
Maria? Any questions for Maria? You gave such a good presentation, it was not necessary to clarify anything.
I want to I have a quote I love by an anthropologist called Margaret Mead. You talked earlier about waste, and she looked at how waste is differ between different cultures, what is used and not used. And her conclusion was, dirt is just matter out of place. It doesn't exist, it just depends on the culture you are.
Thank you. Then we move on to Elisabeth Iversen from the Department of Teacher Education in Realtech. So the floor is yours.
Takk, takk. Skal vi se, nå ser dere og hører godt. Så bra. Jeg snakker norsk i dag, så får vi se hva jeg gjør neste gang. Skolehage, det er en sentral bærekraftsarena i opplæringsøyemed. Og det er kjempeviktig, og vi er godt i gang nå med å drive og utdanne lærere, og også i år barnehagelærere til skolehage. Så det er veldig spennende. Det er jeg, som heter Elisabeth, jeg jobber da på lærerutdanninga, veldig interessert i dette med læring utendørs, og skriver doktorgrad om uteundervisning i naturfag spesielt. Men jeg er også veldig interessert i det med naturbruksskoler. Og Trine holdt et fantastisk foredrag for lærere på naturbruk nå forrige uke. Så det var jeg veldig glad for. Og så har vi Ayana Hudjins her nå, som det er vi som har laget denne presentasjonen. Som er da pedagogisk leder her på Vitenparken. Så dette er da et samarbeidsprosjekt nå mellom Vitenparken og NMBU. Vi gleder oss til videre samarbeid da, internt på NMBU. Interessant med arkitekt også, se hva det kan gjøre der. Vi snakket litt om skolehage. Hva er det? Jo, sitte der og være der og bruke det og ta del i skolehage. Det er kjempeviktig for elever, for lærere og for publikum. Det handler om drift, undervisning og et fellesskap. Og så ser vi at skolehage også åpner opp til at folk som ikke har så mye med universitetet å gjøre, kan komme hit og være i skolehagen. Så det bygger også ned veggene mellom universitetet og samfunnet. Så det synes vi er veldig bra. Vi har kalt dette et demonstrasjonsanlegg, hvor det er studenter, publikum, lærere og elever i skolen som skal bruke skolehage. Dette bildet ser vi, det ble tatt forrige onsdag, så det er fra Bygdøy gartneri, som er et annet sted hvor vi gjennomfører skolehagekursene våre. Og vi ønsker jo at skolehagen her på NMBU skal bli like stor og flott, og kanskje enda litt mer større, enda litt flottere. Der er det også kjempefint, og lærerne er veldig fornøyde med å være der på kurs, og også veldig fornøyd med å være her på Vitenparken. Men vi ønsker å utvide og utvikle. For neste år så er det 5 nettverk av 30 lærere som skal delta på skolehagekurs. Det er ganske mange, nesten 200, i tillegg til at det også videreføres noen kurs fra i fjor. Dette er noe skolene vil, det er noe lærerne vil. Og vi ser også at dette er noe elevene vil, for det er ikke til å stikke under en stol at vi mister litt mer og mer kontakt med naturen. Sånn at det er noe med å få hendene litt skittende også. Og her samarbeider vi også med å gjennomføre disse kursene på Vitenparken. Samarbeider vi med skolehagepedagoger som også er på Vitenparken. Vi ser at vi har allerede en kjøkkenhage som forsyner da restauranten. Det er kanskje noe av det vi skal spise etterpå i dag. Det er også en hage her som går til skolehageprogram som gjennomføres av Vitenparken. Så det er allerede mye som skjer. Men vi ønsker kanskje da litt mer publikumsvennlig at det skal være at vi føler at vi går inn i en hage, og vi skal være. Vi har også et videreutdanningskurs, som er kanskje det eldste kurset her på NMBU. Det ble første gang gjennomført i 1996, og handlet om skolehage. Så dette er veldig populært. Så det her, at dette prosjektet kom nå, tenker jeg bare, yes, det her må vi bygge videre på. Hvor? Vi har tenkt den gamle Staudeplassen bak Boksmia. Og der vi allerede I gang med denne lille skoledagen vi har nå. Vitenparken har tett dialog med parkledelsen her, som du får på plass både det vi vil, og opprettholder det som de ønsker også. Da planen at det Vitenparken og ILU som skal drifte dette her, altså lærerutdanningen da. Sånn ser det ut I dag, og litt kortsiktig dette planene våre, men en skolehage den gule feltet til venstre. Og så har vi noe kjøkkenhagen som vi ønsker å utvide. Vi har en besøkshage her som vi også vil videreutvikle. Jeg kjenner dere igjen her. Kanskje at boksmia da nederst. Går det an opp? Ja, der. Og så det den veien opp til Sørellinga og så videre går her da. Så ønsker vi må jo ha kompost, for det handler om å dyrke jord. Det jo noe viktigste det vi gjør. Og så ønsker vi drivhus og drivbenk der. Dette på kort sikt, så det vil vi nok gjennomføre nå neste år. Og så har vi jo selvfølgelig en framtidsversjon, som Trine, vi fikk smygtitte litt på I stad, som ser sånn ut. Det litt større. Vi har flyttet kjøkkenhagen til der skolehagen I dag, utvidet det. Skole- og visningshagen har fått mye større plass. Frukthagen med blomstring, men dette litt mer løst, så vi må også ha litt samtaler og sånn rundt det. Og kompost, ikke sant? Her det også mulighet for å få tilkjørt blant annet husdyrgjødsel fra kuene våre nede på jordet her, ikke sant? Så vi ønsker å se synergieffekter med hele universitetet, og også ut mot publikum, og så videre, og så videre, og så videre. Ja. Så dette har vi bare lyst til at skal vokse og vokse. Ja, det mitt. Nei, det ikke en igjen. Hvem? Vi må ha litt hvem her. Linda Jolly. Hun skolehagens mor. Det hun som har drivet kurset siden 1996 og enda før. Veldig fint bilde av henne her. Og så har vi rekruttert noen nye. Iri Vanastigen, som gartner og også har en mastergrad I nordisk språk. Så han tsjekker opprinnelig og skriver og snakker vel bedre norsk enn de fleste. I hvert fall den skrivingen han supergod på også. Så har vi Kirsten Mathisen, som jobber både ved Vitenparken og også NMBU nå. Så ser vi synergieffekter her med folk som jobber, at det får litt delte stillinger. Og Kenneth Thomassen har sin andre dag I dag, og har begynt da å jobbe på både Vitenparken og NMBU. Så jeg veldig glad for dette her. Så vi ser at vi vokser, og det godt. Så har vi oss I mer administrative, men også utviklingsstillingene, Ayana, og Mette Nordby, som faglig leder for etterutdanninga, og så meg selv. Da vi ferdig. Takk.
Tusen takk, Elisabeth. Thank you very much. I have a challenge to you. You don't have to answer now, but I'm thinking that we have a lot of students that would like to be engaged. And I think this is a perfect arena for them to, because I'm thinking that students from Landsam and from BioVit in particular possibly would like to have their own company in teaching and disseminating their knowledge, and maybe we could work something out in entrepreneurship with students and the school gardens. But you don't need to answer it now, but I just want to plant the idea.
Yeah, but I think it's a good idea. And we worked with sustainable entrepreneurship in other schools as well, so I think we have a lot of experiences with this.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of enthusiasm among the students, and we need to challenge it somewhere. Not challenge it, channel it, yes. Okay, so the next person out is work package 4. With Helen French, please.
So will the next one? Okay, I just want to go one back, actually. Yeah. So, my name is Helen French. I forgot to mention my background, but I'm a hydrogeologist, so I work with water in the subsurface mainly, but also how it gets into the subsurface. So that's my basic background. And just now, talking about the outdoor education, right now we have a field course in hydrogeology, so I'm sort of trying to correspond a little bit with people out there, out in the field today. So my first slide is just putting because there's a lot of other faculties mentioned in the first slide here. So to put it in the water cycle, I thought to sort of place where Mina, my faculty, is working, so the faculty of, what's it called in English again? Environmental and natural sciences. So we are working both with ecosystems in from forest or other systems. They are sitting in Sør-Ellinga, and then we have the soil department, and we are working with anything to do with the subsurface issues. So it could be nutrients, it's also contaminants, and the water then flowing in that system, and also so surface hydrology. So we have a lot of processes that we are dealing with in our faculty. And then I included BioVit here for the kind of production part of the water cycle. It's of course really important. I mean, if you think about hydrogeology, agriculture uses about 60% of the water that's going to irrigation comes from groundwater, actually, globally. So this is very important, actually. And then Realtech, I think they could be probably included several places, but we've important parts relating to the water cycle is of course metrology, and they are responsible for Sørøstjordet, where they have a monitoring station here. So they have lots of competence on meteorological conditions, variability of that, which is very important for us. And of course climate change with increased higher intensities, warmer climate, all those things, they are part of the boundary conditions for what we are dealing with. And they'll take also, of course, anything to do with urban infrastructure. So the water and sanitation is dealt with there. We've had some collaboration with how to reduce floods, which I'll get back to. So these are some aspects relating to water at Realtech. And then, what else? We have the veterinaries. We haven't had any collaboration with them. So, well, at least I haven't, but I assume that the water quality is a very important aspect. Actually, we were trying to explore new groundwater wells for the new fish lab in the Veterinary Institute. And so we've had actually a little bit of collaboration in that direction. But that's something we also deal with and that we include in our courses. And then what we have here, KBM, so a lot of the biological processes relating to waste, or the organic waste at least, is dealt with at KBM, so just to include that. And then of course the economy is governing a lot of what is actually can be done because of the cost-benefit type of analysis. What is sustainable in an economic way? That's also very important for what can be done or cannot be done. So it's not all the natural processes aren't living in their own world. They have to be attached to some economy. Then I want to talk a little bit about the Earth Rescue Center, which it's a Center for Research-Based Innovation, so SFI, which is up in the corner there. It was started in November last year, so it's quite sort of in the establishing phase. We are dealing with different mass fractions. A lot of the waste that goes to landfill sites today is mineral wastes. So it's contaminated soils, it's used building materials, concrete, tegel, what is that in English? I don't know. Well, roof tiles, and it's ash from combustion or incineration of waste, organic waste. We also will deal with, is this pointer working? Yeah. So infrastructure projects where they're building tunnels, so there's a lot of mineral material produced from that, and also some of that ends up on waste sites. What did I say here? Oh yeah, this was a tunnel. And then we also have acid-producing bedrock, so that's also a problem that we are dealing with. And then we're also, part of the work package is old landfill sites, and we're also working with how to construct new ones. And in an urban setting, actually these old landfill sites, because of, the growth of cities, some of these old waste sites that were closed down in 60s or 80s, or which have mixed waste, we don't know what's in them, and we don't, we don't know how to deal with them. So they are important in urban setting also, because should you leave it there or should you remove it? So one of our activities is on landfill mining, which is kind of relating to this. Yes, so just showing a picture of that. This is what we want to obtain from our project to reduce or increase use and recycling of these mass fractions, so earth materials. And then we want to develop technologies for combining different kinds of materials so that it becomes safe to use in other settings. So that is also an important part of the urban, in an urban setting. The other thing with an urban setting is that, for example, Oslo, it's considered that all soil is contaminated. And if you dig up soil from one location, so you're building a new building, and if you can reuse it on the same location, then there's certain regulations. If you take it away from that location, then you get another set of regulations. And then very often it ends up on the landfill site, and you have a lot of transportation, a lot of energy use for that, and negative effects for the environment. So we want to look at how this can be used again. And this will also then have some cases involved. So we have, for example, with the old landfill sites, we have Brånåsen at Lillestrøm, which is going to stay there. It has a lot of problems with the methane production, and we have for the old landfill sites that are going to be removed, we have a site in Bergen, and we also have a lot of like in old industrial sites down in Nedre Glomma. There's no near Fredrikstad. And we also have some collaboration with Pådriv, so that I kind of highlight here, because Pådriv is here. And we're looking at, so in this mass or earth material cycle, a big problem is that you take it out, and then it can be used in another project, but it needs to be stored somewhere meanwhile, and that is called a masse hub in Norwegian. And also to have digital systems where you know where to put it later. So if you want to read more about the project or center, we have our web pages here. And then, so what we want to try to do, and I think also in this center, is that we want to mimic nature in a sustainable way. So if we now put some urbanized system in this illustration, we have we get more sealed surfaces. We have a lot of infrastructure in the ground, which causes changes to the groundwater table, subsidence, and a lot of problems. So we can, so we should kind of try to make the urban system more natural. And one of the things that we have been collaborating with Landsam and Realtek about earlier, so this is not through Earth Rescue, but this is some other activities, is to create, for example, this rain garden, which is can have multiple purposes, but one of the objectives, so this is actually just a depression in the garden. You can have a look at it. It's behind Tivoli, sorry. It looks much more green now, actually. So one of the objectives is to reduce floods, to compensate for the sealed surfaces in the town. It's aesthetical effects with so it has social effects in that way. You can remove pollutants in these systems, and maybe you can also produce things, but it also adds to the biodiversity in the town area. So I think there's a lot of tools we have based on nature principles that we can use in an urban environment. So that was what I had planned to say.
Thank you very much, Helen.
Yep.
Any quick question for Helen? No. Well, you from all the presentations we've seen, you see how we tie all these different resources together, and your SFI is an important part in broadening the aspects
so
we have.
We have to kind of outline now, I think, from now how it fits in with other things in this other project, and also how to involve other people in our faculties. I don't think we've had enough time to do that yet.
No. This is work in progress, as I said. Yes. So thank you very much. Jan has a question, and Hugo has a question.
One of the partners in the project.
Yes, Niva is one of the partners.
And they are probably focusing on unwanted contaminants or contaminants.
Yep. Yeah. So part of their role is to look at the leachate from old landfill sites. So both how to monitor that, but we also have activities concerning purification of that water. So that's kind of where they fit into our project core center. Yeah, and we also, I forgot, but there's actually 24 user partners in this project, so it's a lot of partners.
Yeah, my comment on that is that you have persons here who could have done that.
Of course, yeah, actually, but that's it's a little bit due to the history of how when the application was sent. We NMBU became the coordinator of this application like less than half a year before the deadline, and there was already a group of researchers or research institute involved in the proposal, so we couldn't kind of, they were already involved, so that's why. But we don't. That doesn't mean that we don't welcome that competence from the from NMBU also. So, but it's good that you know about this. Then we can talk later.
Yeah.
Great. And Hugo had a question.
Thank you for a very nice presentation. Since you already sort of showed that you've managed to connect different faculties, what's been the sort of success factors for corporations that you sort of think we could bring in and strengthen what we're going to do here?
Difficult to answer. I think part of the challenge of this collaboration across faculties is we don't actually know what the others are doing. So I think that actually networking is really important, just to be able to make those connections. So just like the presentations we have here, or so meeting points is important, just to know about each other. Like what the the question I just had. Yeah. So I guess that, but it is personal. It is, you need to know the people. So I think a challenge is, like Trine was saying, that you have too much to do. So you get, you have some people who get to know a lot of people, that you could probably be better at involving more people at the faculties to make it more robust. Yeah, so that is something that I think would be needed to have enough resources and enough time to do everything.
Excellent. I think networking is the key here, actually, and knowing about each other. Yeah. Thank you very much again. Now we have Jorge Marchetti on video. Are you ready with that, Alexander? Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm unaware what time of the day it is. First of all, I would like to apologize for not being able to be there in person with you. There has been some administrative issues that needed my physical presence. My name is Jorge Marchetti. I'm a professor at Realtech, and I'm also leader of the Reactor Engineering and Catalysis group. Unaware what time of the day it is. First of all, I would like to apologize for not being able to be there in person with you. There has been some administrative issues that needed my physical presence. My name is Jorge Marchetti. I'm a professor at Realtech, and I'm also leader of the Reactor Engineering and Catalysis group. As the name implies, we work on different aspects of reactor engineering, catalysis, testing, preparation, characterization, and modeling. I like this image of skydiving, since I would like to think that we can try to contribute in our expertise to see the problem from a different angle, a different perspective, which allow us to see the bigger picture and to take into consideration as the bigger picture as possible. However, not always successfully on that, and that's why we are very good to have different expertise and different backgrounds involved into the different topics we work with, because that allows us to do our job better. What do we do in our group is quite diverse, and here's a list of things we work with. From valorization of waste biomass, we produce different chemicals, fine chemicals, biofuels. We do catalysis preparation, characterization, can be renewable based, or we test commercial ones. We do reactor engineering, we do reaction kinetics, we do upscaling, modeling, optimization, design of experiments, etc., etc., etc. We work in different topics, from carbon nanotube for hydrogen storage. We work with solar panels, electro for fuel cells. So we work on not only valorization of waste or production catalyst, we also are focusing also on the products that we want to achieve and how they can be useful for other aspects. I will come back with a sort of example on this later on. First of all, I would like to also introduce something that we were granting this year, which is the NMBU Strategiske Forskningsinfrastruktur for waste valorization for a sustainable tomorrow. That's the title. Mainly, it is the transformation of waste materials, as you can see here, from plastic, forestry, and agriculture, but it could also be from animals or householding and so on, through different thermochemical process into all type of product. This Vaycard, or roadmap, as I would like to call it, has been supported by all the faculties at NMBU, and for that I'm very grateful. And I'm hoping that this goes very hand in hand with our sustainable arena and will allow us to cooperate closer and closer and develop more and more solutions to our problems. The main concept here, as I said, is to transform waste that normally we are misplacing or wrongly placing and produce different components that we have either more economical input or impact, as well as they're more environmentally friendly, allow us to reduce contamination or pollutant on the beginning, and at the same time producing something that society needs on the other end. For this kind of process, we need a lot of different expertise, and therefore I think that this roadmap together with the sustainable arena is a great combination that could allow us to achieve this goal. We are involved in Work Package 5, which is bioresource and energy, and we will try to contribute and help everybody with what we can in those aspects, and we are definitely welcome different thoughts and opinions. And as I said, I'm sorry to not be possible there, so please do try to contact me later on and we can see how we can help you, and definitely would like to know how you're thinking of helping us as well. As I said, short of a small example, we go for example, in this particular case, we take a mussel shell, which is a material that normally is disposed by the fishing industry, and we can produce a bio-based renewable catalyst. We do some characterization, and eventually we can test it, in this case with used coffee grains, which is also our organic waste, in order to produce biofuels and biochemicals. We can do that in a very small lab scale, as we can see on this image here. But if that is not sufficient, and it was the case in a medical application project we worked on, we can move into a PAR reactor that is around a liter that allow us to increase pressure, temperature, and a little bit on the size. In this case, we produce biofuel, which was not the main component, but C20, C22, C22, C24 alcohols based on oil that is non-edible, so we cannot eat it. And therefore, this product has a much more value for the market and has medical applications against encapsulated viruses that is quite crucial nowadays, especially. When we have produced the chemicals we want, we can do some testing and analysis. And if we succeed, we go for glory. And if not, as normally happens in science, we're back to square one, so to speak, and we need to start moving around our system, changing the catalyst, condition, process, etc., etc. When we have a good grasp of the experimental work, we can move into the modeling. We can do, for example, DFT to understand how is the interaction of the different molecules with the different catalysts. In this case, it's ethanol over calcium oxide. And this information allows us to propose this kind of mechanisms, obtain our mathematical modeling, and eventually feed the data, as you can see up here. We do DFT, it can be a Monte Carlo, Lattice-Boltzmann, or any kind of modeling that could give us more input and more information about how the mechanism will look like. That will allow us to have a much more better, crucial representation of our real system, our experiments that we have done in the lab. When we have done all this, we have a lot of information and it's very nice and we can get a paper published. However, in order to make a significant impact into society, what we move is one step forward is we try to upscale this idea. Conceptually, of course, we cannot build the process for every idea we have, but we can upscale this in different software and try to put not only the reactor, which is one of these small equipment here, but everything that goes from storage tank, pumps, heat exchanger, everything that is involved in a process in order to simulate a whole production plant. This will allow us eventually to do what is called a techno-economical assessment. It's not an LCA, it's one step before that, but it will allow us to understand what are the main variables involved, what are the costs, what are the profitable, if this process could be eventually upgraded into a full plan that someone would like to invest. The main idea from this is would allow us to understand which variable has the most significant effect on it and do a sensitivity analysis to say, okay, can we have this process, for example, in Norway, or some of the cost is too big and therefore it's better to move this new technology into another country that has a different tax rate or a different labor or is closer to the source. Let's say if we want a non-edible oil, Israel is one of the providers, it's better to put the plant in Israel and analyze all the different aspects. This is a short summary, hopefully within the time of 5 to 7 minutes, but this is to give you an idea of what we can do. I'm looking forward to meet you all. Unfortunately, I might meet you after lunch, and please do not hesitate to approach me, contact me, and we can try to do one-on-one meetings to see how we can help you and definitely how you can help us to make this arena bigger and that we can achieve our goals in sustainability. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jorge. I don't know whether you're listening in, but thank you for your presentation. Next person out is Nils Sanne from Handelshøyskolen. So please, the floor is yours.
Takk. Det kommer til å bli en 5 minutters presentasjon på norsk, kort, om samfunn og økonomi. Utgangspunktet at vi har en masterklasse I entreprenørskap og innovasjon. Det et meget populært studie. Vi får svært mange studenter hit. Vi kan velge og vrake mellom de beste. De veldig fornøyd. Og det liksom noe av stoltheten nede på Handelshøyskolen som jeg fornøyd med. Og så det en gang sånn at kanskje 99,9% av de casene vi jobber med, de henter vi utenfor NMBU. Ikke bare at vi henter dem utenfor NMBU, men det stort sett med alt mulig annet enn det NMBU står for også. Altså, her har vi jo mulighet til å bli både enige om liksom, noe med hva NMBU står for, og vi får mulighet til å samarbeide mellom alle fakultetene. Så dette jo en spennende mulighet. Altså, vi ser på det som et spennende case, der vi både kan lykkes med å integrere vår slemerte universitetet og vise frem hva vi stolte av. Og hvert eneste år så klarer vi å få studenter til å få 1 million kroner av Forskningsrådet I det Student for Ny fra masterklasse I entreprenørskap. Og jeg tror alle, bortsett fra en gang, så det sammen med en student fra et annet fakultet. Altså, du kan ikke gjøre dette uten et team. Så vi meget ivrige på å treffe noen av de andre. Og jeg tror at studentene mine har svært godt av å bli integrert I noe sånt som dette Så det spennende case både på at vi får mer fokus, retning og studentene deres ute etter. Og så ønsker vi også at entreprenørskap noe mer enn 50-60 stykk. Tenker på daglig av studentene våre på kanskje 5000. Vi ønsker at dette kanskje noe som kunne vært en 2 timers foredrag, eller kanskje et 5 studiepoeng, eller altså entreprenørskap kommer inn mange steder. Som, jeg sier ikke at de skal drive med entreprenørskap eller innovasjon alle steder, men tanken tror jeg folk har godt av. Og hva mener vi med entreprenørskap og innovasjon? Typisk tema vi vil bidra med designtenkning, altså prosessen, komme opp med nye ideer, hva kan vi gjøre og så videre. Og jeg ser jo at de temaene her går igjen på kun et eneste tema, og det når skolehage kommer, fordi de må samarbeide med Vitenparken, og Vitenparken må drive med akkurat dette. De driver med samfunn og økonomi. Og jeg rimelig sikker på at det må alle andre forholde seg til også, men typisk designtenkning, idémyldring, hvem vei kan vi gå? Og ikke minst, hvordan kan vi få finansiert det, hvem kan vi investere I det, hvordan kan vi vokse, og så videre. Det ikke helt tilfeldig. Det en helt systematisk prosess, der en setter noen hypoteser, tester hypoteser, og så går videre fremover. Det en måte. Og så tenker jeg at vi samarbeider dårlig her, men vi klarer jo ikke helt å samarbeide om dette internt på Handelshøyskolen heller. Altså, når du har en professor i strategi, de er veldig glad i strategi, og når vi mener at alt du sier er en hypotese og det må testes, så blir det jo interessant lunsj da. Og så har jeg blitt litt inspirert. Jeg fikk muligheten til å dra til Berkeley, til Mike Moultons mors gamle skole. Og der kjente jeg barna mine inn på Martin Luther King Middle School. Og de har en helt fantastisk skolehage. Og denne skolehagen hadde jeg aldri hørt om. Men det viser seg at denne ble startet for 50 år siden eller noe sånt nå, og ikke bare hadde det blitt en skolehage som hadde vokst til liksom både av en ordentlig hage og dyr, og det var et skolekjøkken, og det var et integreringsprosjekt, og det var foreldre som kunne jobbe frivillig da i uka og ta et program på Berkeley og så videre. Men de hadde jo klart å eksportere dette her sånn til 3 kontinenter, 250 ungdomsskoler, og de hadde 10-talls millioner kroner i omsetning. Riktig nok brukt 50 år på det eller noe sånt, men det var noe med, de har klart å gjøre en skolehage til noe helt vanvittig stort. Samtidig som det ikke var gjennomkommerst. Altså, han som gikk i 6. klasse, guttungen min, han elsket jo skolehage. Gledet seg til at foreldrene skulle komme og være med på å se hva de hadde laget på skolekjøkken. Da havnet jeg sammen med en familie fra India og en fra Honduras, og vi skulle lage mat sammen. Og jeg har aldri brukt så mye hender, men det var veldig gøy. Og alt var ledet fra en som hadde ramlet ut fra ungdomsskolen og hadde det som en sånn der samfunnstjeneste, faktisk. Det var så det er noe med... Det går an å tenke annerledes, det går an å få satt det i system, og det går an å få det til å vokse. Sier ikke at det vil lykkes, og jeg vet ikke hvor dette skal ende opp hen, men jeg er helt sikker på at mine studenter skal få møte noen av deres studenter, og at det kommer noen fine møter ut av det. Så det var mine 5 minutter.
You said that there was a lot of collaboration between your students and other students from other faculties in this program. Is that, do they all take the subject at your faculty, or are they? How is that connection?
Unfortunately, my students mainly take courses at the business school. So they meet them like Eik Lab, they take courses at Realtek, they live together at accidentally at
So the students from the other faculties, they are not taking your course, but
No,
they are
no, no.
involved through the people who are taking your course.
So
Put it
like
that way.
a very like what normally happens is that you need a team and you need a good idea. Normally we have people with passion, we have good teams done at the business school. They lack a good idea. And otherwise, there's a lot of smart people at this university, and they don't think like business model. So very, very often my students, they actually look after other people with good ideas. It's hard to like start a new restaurant, and that's the good idea. You need some technology, you need something like special. So, yeah.
Good, thank you.
I can add to this that Nils is giving a course in business. Well, it's a 5 study credit course. Yeah, but I'm thinking about the course that we are making obligatory for the master in urban agriculture. Yeah,
Økonomistyring.
Yeah, økonomistyring. Yeah, so that will be all the students that take a master in urban agriculture will be subjected to Nils. So that's, yeah. So thank you very much. Next person out is Roberta Kucha. And I'm happy to give you the floor, Roberta.
Thank you. Are you okay? So thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Maybe I'm very new in this group. So for me, it's a fantastic occasion to present myself and to get to know you, and also to understand better if how we can collaborate together. Yes, I will be coordinating the working package on sustainable housing. I work in Lansam. Originally, my background is in urban and environmental sociologist, and I work in Lansam with planners, geographers, and other social scientists interested in, especially in topics related to sustainable development, urban sustainable development. And my specific focus is especially in the social dimension of urban sustainability policies in comparative perspective. I have done a lot of work comparing, for example, the sustainable urban development in different capitals in Europe. I have been working for a very long time in Vienna. That is a city that I like very much. Also in Copenhagen, and now I'm in Oslo, and originally I'm from Milan. Yes, sustainable housing. As I told you, I'm a sociologist, very much interested in social and spatial inequalities. And when I am approaching sustainable housing, I like also to give a very strong focus on the social aspects related to housing. So it's important, of course. It's absolutely crucial to provide a condition for innovation for ecological aspects, but at the same time it's also very important to keep in mind many different social aspects related to housing. And today we have already seen, for example, in terms of the impact of urban agriculture on a neighborhood and condition of living in certain neighborhoods. It's very important and touch very much upon issues related to participation, diversity, coexistence. Recently, I have already been working especially on issues related to accessibility. So with my group, I'm working very much on issues related to ecological gentrification. What is ecological gentrification? Unfortunately, it can be the bad side sometimes of bringing some environmental innovations and also some greening projects in our neighborhoods, in our city. Unfortunately, there is a huge literature about the possible also negative social implications in terms of accessibility to cities of greening. For example, we can see these very much, unfortunately, in the renovation of parks in some specific areas of our cities. We can see this as defined as blue gentrification on the waterfront of many cities. This is a picture, of course, of Copenhagen. But also in relation to some issues related to climate change and also infrastructures to deal with climate change. Later I will explain you about a project about nature-based solutions and gentrification in European cities. Also issues related to the possible implication of densification on housing affordability and unaffordability. Also ecological retrofitting. For example, in Germany, there are large demonstrations of citizens who don't want to get this ecological retrofitting in their building because the rent is increasing very much. Issues related, of course, of car-free areas that became more attractive for specific target groups. Finally, this is a picture of Milan, the Quartiere Isola. This is, sorry, you should look at that. This is Bosco Verticalis, the vertical forest, a very famous skyscraper designed by Stefano Boeri, that is quite famous worldwide. But unfortunately, all these strategies have had as an unintended effect rise in the housing cost, and so more problems for people living there. The focus of my group, I work and coordinate with another colleague, the Urban Sustainability Research Group at BIREC in Landsap, is very much in trying to define some strategies to link issues related to environmental justice and social and spatial justice in cities. And so we, of course, are interested in understanding the trends and the mechanism that, unfortunately, many cities are, unfortunately, leading to more process of gentrification. But we want also to focus on possible alternative solutions to avoid this process. And in this way, bring together the social dimension of sustainability and housing accessibility with ecological innovation and ecological housing solutions. So, for example, when I was in Vienna, I have been involved in some projects investigating the very positive implications of promoting ecological innovation in the social housing. I don't know if you are familiar with Vienna, but it's a fantastic example when it comes to social housing and municipal housing and what is possible to do in social housing. And more recently, I have been also working with some groups that are trying to implement what has been defined as the just green enough approach. What has been noted, especially in the United States, is that unfortunately very often these greening interventions are very spectacular, and the fact that these green interventions are so spectacular are one ingredient for very strong process of increasing housing costs. So the idea of the just green enough approach is to bring ecological improvement, but not so spectacular, in order to try to avoid the huge process of gentrification in our city. So basically, in this moment, I'm working on some project. I'm supervising in our group a PhD project on densification and housing affordability or unaffordability in Oslo. I'm working with some master thesis on waterfront redevelopment in Scandinavian cities. I'm working again with Vienna in this project on the implementation of nature-based solutions in Vienna and the risk of gentrification. And also I'm supervising some master thesis on some alternative housing solution, for example, co-housing, and how much these alternative housing solutions can be a successful strategy to bring together accessibility and environmental innovation in housing. Ideas for collaboration. I'm new in this group, and basically I'm also still quite new in Norway. And at NMBU, I'm really looking forward to have the chance to collaborate with you on aspects related to possible trade-off between environmental policies, greening strategies, and housing accessibility, or in understanding better, because there is still a knowledge gap, for example, in what are the factors very often kicking off green gentrification, for example, in Oslo, strategies to avoid and limit green gentrification in cities, and how to implement sustainable urban transformation also in terms of housing accessibility. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roberta. Questions for Roberta? You're not the only one who's new to this group. There are lots of new people to this group. Yeah?
The question is just a comment that I see. I look forward to know some of your project, and I see there's a lot of overlapping with what we try to do in cultivating public spaces, where we actually focus on public spaces just because this should be completely accessible 24 hours for anybody, and not in private or inaccessible places, depending on income and so on. So yeah, thank you.
Super.
Great. So thank you very much again. Unfortunately, Mike Moulton was unable to join us today, so we move quickly forward to the last presentation before lunch, which is Solveig in dissemination and communication.
Thank you, Trine. So I don't have a presentation because I guess that dissemination and communication package of this project is the least kind of decided. So instead of trying to figure this out beforehand, I just thought that I could talk a little bit about the potential and what this dissemination package could be and what kind of formats that we could be looking at. So to start that, I think I'll just say a few words about Vitenparken. Most of you meet Vitenparken in a context very similar to this. Today you participate in the meeting, you see the inside of this meeting room, and you probably taste some food from the kitchen that is a nice experience. But Vitenparken is much more than that. So just to give you, at least some of you that are new to Vitenparken, also a few ideas about that. So we're a science center. It's 13 science centers in Norway. And we are one of them based on the campus here. And we are an experience center. So what we aim to do, of course, we have an official public mandate that is concerned with science communication. And our vision is to inspire people to take part in the green transition that we all need to be a part of in an engaging way. And we do that. How do we create this engagement and the feeling of empowerment? That is not done with the formal communication, writing possibly reports and making nice websites. We need to create like really immersive experiences, engaging people, drawing them in and inviting them to take part. So a few of the formats, so to speak, that we are working with that might give you some ideas, and we can see where they fit into this project. It's of course, when I hear sustainability arena, I think of something physical. It's an arena that I can visit and see for myself what is going on. I can do something hands-on and get my hands dirty, literally, and interact with something physically. And of course, an arena, it's a place where you meet people, like we do today. But there can be virtual arenas, of course. So we'll see how we fill this arena with content and experiences. Like Elisabeth has mentioned previously, we will provide the physical arena for the school garden and the connected activities. And as she mentioned already, we see the school garden as the perfect pedagogical arena for teaching almost every subject and engaging people in what sustainability is really about. And of course also enabling the teachers to utilize this arena for their pupils. In this project we'll of course also provide the physical arena for the networking activities and meetings and seminars that are more part of the standard communication, but I would also really like to challenge us how we use this project in the empowerment and engagement part and aspect of the urban agriculture. And to do that, Vitenparken, we work a lot with programs and activities for schools and pupils. And normally here we have almost 15,000 school kids using some kind of program and taking part in an activity that we do. We host and program popular scientific events like the Pechakucha thing that Trine mentioned, which is one concept that we have a lot of experience with, but we do a lot of other kind of formats also, so we need to see what can fit in here. More recently, we, for obvious reasons, are working a lot with digital communication and content. We in the project Cultivating Public Space, we are, for example, working with an app for urban agriculture, and we also, in light of Corona and everything else, we have been in a quite rapid digital transition, also realizing that everybody that we want to interact with our mission and content and communication is not going to travel physically to us. So we need to be into the digital realm. So we do have our own crew with the digital developers, designers, making games, apps, web apps, other things that we, for example, digital learning material. So that's an option. It's a resource that we have, and being an experience center, we also work with interactive installations. Those of you who have not visited our exhibition that we have downstairs should do so during the summer. It's not open for the public yet, but it will soon be during the summer. And maybe because being an arena, trying to create physical experiences to engage people, an option is to see how maybe we can implement all the ideas that we are working with in this project into a micro or miniature system that we can actually, well, you do have the showcase here on campus. I don't necessarily think that the general audience feel that they have access to that, or that is it's a purpose for that showcase. So, but maybe I think that to engage people in the green transition that we're trying to create and nudge, I think that the physical experience is really important to see, well, okay, what does it mean that we create a system like this instead of that? So in try to envision that circularity, I think we should maybe look at the option to create something, interactive installation, something. But again, as you can hear, my rambling here, this is very not thought through yet. So, but happily, we do have 4 years to figure out what this will be. So, but yes, so as you maybe saw on the list, we're going to be part in all the work packages, and I really look forward to work close with all of you to kind of try to, pick up ideas and messages that we can transform into really engaging, inspiring, tangible solutions and communication. So with that, any questions?
Any questions for Solveig? Hugo?
Just a brief comment. I'm very happy to have you on board, and I'm very happy to hear that you're also underlining the importance of the physical experience. Neurologically, we're storing the memories way deeper when we have the sensation of being there, touching, feeling, seeing all of these things. So the digital arena and the physical one, I think, is important. So I'm very happy to hear that.
Thank you. Thanks.
I have a comment. You asked me the other day, what will be the division of labor between kommunikasjonsavdelingen in NMBU and you as this? And you got a very probably unsatisfactory answer, but I'm going to tell you this because it will demonstrate to you how I would like to lead this. Because what I told you was that you should talk to Eivind Norum in kommunikasjonsavdelingen and agree on how you should do it. And that's how I think we should work, because there's no point in me mediating, because you have to find a way to work. And if it doesn't work, then you can come to me and say, I need your help here, right? So I'm telling all of you that as long as things function, you talk to each other and you do the networking and you find the division of labor and the way of collaborating. And when it doesn't function, you can come and speak to me in confidence, and I will not reveal what you've told me, or you can come and speak to me and say, please make an intervention here, and then try and figure out. And I used to say when I was a pro-rector that it's much like being a plumber. And you might wonder what I mean by that, but I see it as a plumber, in new constructions, you make the connections, right? And sometimes they're clogged up, and then you have to come and unclog them. Yeah, so that's how I see my function. I try to make the connections, and I will try to help you get unclogged. Yeah, so just I wanted to say that so that everybody understands how I think it's the best way to do this. So, but thank you very much, Solveig, and I think thank you. We will achieve great things together, I'm sure. The final word before lunch, I will just point out to you, you may have noticed that all of the people who have spoken today are of a younger generation than myself. And this is well, this is deliberate, because I have a lot of friends in this university which are my age and above, that I could have asked to do these leaderships of these work packages. But I deliberately chose to look at the next generation of leaders, because that's the sustainable way of doing it, okay? So, and I also tried to make it as diverse as possible. We have just managed to maintain a 40% male representation, so we are within the law. So that's another aspect of how I've been trying to set this up. So, but thank you very much for all these presentations today, and let's give them a round of applause and we'll have lunch. And we have 30 minutes for lunch. Okay, so welcome back after lunch. Not so heavy lunch, but it was nice to be out in the sunshine. I'm sorry to keep you here in the dark room, but sometimes it's necessary to do some work inside. So what's going to happen now? I'm going to talk about the goals and ambitions and what we want to achieve with this arena. And then Siri Fjellheim, who's unfortunately, you might have noticed her outside. Unfortunately, she's tied up in a meeting upstairs. So I will give her presentation as of last Friday when we had the kickoff of all the 5 sustainability arenas in NMBU. So she has a presentation that I will give. It's in Norwegian and I'll translate it to English. And after that, we will have the discussion and reflections on the arena and see how we can move this forward. And I think we have allowed ample time, even if we are delayed, we are still within the time frame so that we can manage to finish by 2 o'clock and still have 40 minutes for discussion. And I have deliberately not given you Siri Fjellheim's presentation about the expectations that NMBU has to our arena in advance. And this is because I didn't want to stress all of you that we're going to give presentations or whether you had included everything that she expects us to do or not. I would rather you look upon that presentation as a sort of time for you to reflect on what we can contribute to fulfill those expectations. And then we can discuss that afterwards. But I will start off with the goals and ambitions in GreenSmart. And what we have said in the application is that we will use our resources to develop and coordinate NMBU's faculty through common projects in, I see that's coming twice, never mind, in research and development, and the establishment of courses and study programs, including continued education. So this is something that there were certain criteria for evaluation, so we needed to respond to those and tick off. And this is responding to the evaluation criteria. And then we would like to establish meeting arenas, both physical, like we do today, and digital, that we are also doing today. And incidentally, Jorge, I think when you tried to look to the hook on, maybe it was during your presentation because that video did not go out in the live stream. So otherwise I've been told that the live stream is functioning. So I think that is working, and it will be made available for us and other people later. So this is something that we've learned from the pandemic, that we can do live streaming and make meetings available digitally afterwards, both nationally and internationally. And another thing we would like to achieve is to promote transdisciplinary masterwork. So there is some money set aside every year to support master theses that are transdisciplinary in nature. So we will do that. So how shall we reach those goals? I think one of the things that is really essential to reach goals is to use project planning. And I've put on your tables the almost finished, it's not the latest version, but it's almost finished, when we were doing this project planning in order to plan for this arena. And you can see that this is a project planning in Excel. And you can write your milestones, and you can divide the milestones into urban agriculture, water and sanitation, resources and energy, society and economy, and sustainable constructions or buildings. and that there's a color coded, and then we can transport this into a responsibility chart, and then you can see that the project leadership of NCUA is here, and BioVit and all the faculties and læringssenteret, lektorutdanningen, Vitenparken, Pådriv, SKP, EIK, Idéverksted, SIOS. All these are part of the project as such in order to get things moving. And this type of resources is something I will make available for you as work package leaders. And it's very simple to use, and it comes with instructions, and it's something that really helps me to plan things. And if you would like us to have a workshop on it, we can do that. We can arrange for that to be done. So that's one of the things that I would encourage you to do. You will have a copy of the tool. And we do have it in English too, for those of you who need it in English. Then we will achieve it through networking. This has been said many times today, and it cannot be emphasized enough. Networking is essential. And good communications with Hugo is essential, with each other, with other arenas, and the leadership of NMBU, and the society. So good communications is important to achieve our goals. And I can give you an example of how just having an arena works. When we started the National Center for Urban Agriculture, we had a grand opening in this room by the rector on a Friday, and already on Monday morning the telephone started ringing from people who have heard about this through the news channels and wanted to interact with the National Center for Urban Agriculture. And this is an example of an email we get every now and then, and this ticked in this morning. Very interesting, from Oslo municipality. And they are interested in getting in touch with relevant people and institutions who looks at new research projects within urban agriculture. And Oslo has a strategy for urban agriculture, which they call SPEED in Oslo, Germinating Oslo. And they see that there's a big potential for communicating between the municipality and research. And they are very much interested in action research, where Oslo can be one of our test places. So they have given a short description of possible research areas and themes that we think is most relevant, and where we are open for more possibilities. So this is within Horizon Europe. And they ask us, please contact us if this is of interest for the National Center for Urban Agriculture or NMBU in general. And of course, this is of interest to us. So I will distribute it to all of us that are participating so far, whether we are work package leaders or just participants. And I will also add one more thing. And that is that the participation in this research or this sustainability arena is not limited to those who have signed up already. Those who have signed up already are those that provided a short description of themselves by the 15th of January. And so there's membership is not closed. So please be aware of that, all you work package leaders, that if people approach you, say they are very welcome. Okay. So I have a slide here, suggested actions to be taken by work package leaders. It's one thing you could do is to invite to a workshop to discuss broadly the work package goals and ambitions. And you are, I have said this before too, this is work in progress. And you are very much instrumental in making this into a successful arena. And in order to do that, you need to have ownership of what goes on. So it is up to you to make the goals and ambitions for your own work package, and invite people to take part. And then you can agree on a set of goals, short-term and long-term, and then set it into motion. And whether you do it on Zoom, Teams, Skype, or in person, that's up to you. The reason we have this today is two things. One is that it says in my milestone planning that we should have this meeting before the 1st of July, so I can tick off that. The other reason is that when I put 1st of July as the start point, that was for a reason. And the important reason is that now we have set your mind onto the project, have started the processes, and you can go on summer holiday and think about all other things. But I know the human mind works so that at the back of your head, you will be thinking about this too. You know, maybe just 5 minutes during your vacation, it will swipe through the sustainability arena, and then we are in motion. So last on that part is practicalities. If you could send us a photo that you would like to be represented by for our web page, and maybe if you'd like to update or revise your summary, you can do that too, and we will include that in the presentation of the arena, because the people is the most important. And then we go on to the ambitions, what I would like us to achieve as a team. I would like us to set hairy but realistic goals. They should be hairy, meaning that they should be, people should say, wow, do you really think we could do that? Because even if we don't achieve the goals, I said realistic, but even if we don't achieve the goals, we'll get towards it. And remember that if you don't dare to do something, then you don't achieve anything. So you need to try, and there's no shame in not achieving it. Okay? Trying is important. And what I like to do is to find solution or suggest actions to minimize waste. And that our solutions have found their way into practice, as Jorge said in his video, that, okay, we can get very nice publications, but does it matter if society doesn't take our knowledge into use? And part of the ambition of NMBU is to involve students to the maximum of our capacity, and to challenge authorities whenever, to get actions moving. So, for instance, on the use of human waste. And never miss a chance to promote GreenSmart everywhere you go. Okay? So this is part of communication and dissemination. Wherever you go, you will have an audience, and you can promote NMBU and the sustainability arena at the same time. And then lastly, maybe the most important message, I've put it in green. Treat each other with respect, but still challenge each other to reach the stars. Okay? We are not here to agree on everything. We are here to move forward. So please move forward, but with respect. Så lykke til, alle sammen. I have a problem with my soft Nordic hair. I'm sorry if it distracts you. It doesn't distract me too much. Any questions on that? Everything understood? Ready to go? Yeah? Okay, then I'll tell you what Siri Fjellheim would like us to achieve. she has some expectations to the sustainability arenas. And she made this presentation last Friday. There was a kickoff for all the 5 sustainability arenas on Zoom. They didn't dare to meet in person. We are more bold than them. No, actually, the permission to meet in person today was given on Friday. So they didn't have much choice. It had to be on Zoom. But we met and had a kickoff meeting, and she presented this to us. And she said that the NMBU is going for excellence in research, education, and innovation, and they have an acronym FFUI with a focus on sustainability. And it's a direct follow-up of the strategy of NMBU from 2019 to 2023. And it's a continuation of the excellence in research and education. And under the umbrella, the common goals for a sustainable future. And they have this FFUI, sustainability has 3 legs. They go for talents, they go for prestigious projects, and quality in all, in everything. And you can see that the prestigious projects is, first of all, it's the 5 sustainability arenas. So they have great expectations that we will make NMBU visible and make an impact. The precautions or the evaluation criteria for these arenas is that we have interdisciplinarity, that we develop 1 to 3 relevant courses at master or PhD level, or continued education. That we have cooperation with the outside world, other universities, institutes, næringsliv. Nils. Business, yes, business, thank you. And organizations, NGOs, and local and central and regional authorities. And then we should profile and market NMBU nationally, and also, if preferably, also internationally, in the work we are doing in the shift to a green future. And have open seminars at NMBU, at least 1 every year. So we need to start planning very soon for an open meeting sometime in the autumn, preferably as late as possible, so that we have, hopefully there isn't, everybody has, or everybody that wants to has had their vaccination, and that we have a immunity as a society, and that we can meet. But that's a requirement once a year. But if we can't meet in person with everyone, we could still have a webinar and reach a lot of people that way. And they would like us to apply for big projects like SFF, SFI, FME, and EU projects, and they would like us to be coordinators. So that is prestigious for NMBU. And they also said that we needed to have somebody to lead the project and have considerable administrative capacity. And with Hugo and me together, I think we will be dynamite. Hugo? Hugo is engaged for 6 months to start with, because that's what we are allowed to do without announcing the position. And then we will announce the position and have somebody, maybe Hugo, maybe somebody else, we don't know, from then on. But we're very happy to have Hugo for the time being. The evaluation criteria for this was that we had interdisciplinarity, as I said, that we were original, that we had research, teaching and innovation activities, that we were going to profile NMBU nationally, and the possibilities for developing of an internal or external long-term collaboration, and the organization of our project, and the different participants' competence and ability to see this through. So based on all these criteria, we were one of the 5 chosen. And the other arenas are naturens tålegrenser, then it's us, green and smart cities, and then smart agriculture and green innovation, sustainable cities and local communities, and solutions for the plastic problematic. So the first naturens tålegrense was led by Landsam. Erik something, I've forgotten his second name. Smart Landbruk and Green Innovation was led by Nils Bjugstad and Realtech, together with Morten Lillemo in BioVit. Bærekraftige byer og lokalsamfunn is from Landsam, led by Siri Eriksen and Ingrid Ødegård. And løsninger på plastproblematikken was Vincent Einsig. So now you know what they are working on, and I think that we should actually interact with all the other 4, because there are lots of things for us to learn from that. We have to have promotions, communication, marketing, be visible, and they want us to be a flagship for NMBU. And they want to really shout it from the mountaintops that we have these 5 sustainability arenas, and they are wishing us best of luck. So now you know what they would like us to do. So with that, that's the. Do you have questions on? I could try and explain, because we had Osmund first.
Do you hear me? Oh.
No,
Do you hear me?
Sorry, before you take the floor, I was supposed to remind you that you need to wait for the microphone, otherwise it will not go on the stream. And another thing is that our helper here, she will have to hold it. So she's holding the microphone and you just speak. There you go, Osman.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to remind us, or you, that we have a website already, doesn't we?
Yeah, they do. Yes, we are on the website already.
Which you could hopefully go critical through and come with input. Yeah. I think it still miss some pictures there, or photos.
Yeah. That's why I asked for pictures.
It's rather boring, but it's there, so have a look.
Yeah, it's rather boring, but it's there, and Eivind Norum has extracted from our application and asked me, is this okay? And I said, fine, as a start, this is fine. It's better to get out there than it to be perfect. So we will improve it all the time, and one of the things we will do is what I asked you for, pictures and your self-promotion. Yeah, and then Hugo.
About the other sustainability arenas, what sort of plans have been made for the cooperation between them, and what are we sort of free to make ourselves, and what's sort of the plan there for now, or is it something that just evolves and we'll move on?
I'm not sure. If I understand you correctly, you are asking, can we just go ahead and collaborate?
I certainly hope so. I think we already are, but is there a plan for workshops between the arenas?
Not yet, no. But that's up to all of us, all the 5 arenas, to develop that. And if we have plans for a workshop, it would be a good thing to ask the other 4 if they have input on this and want to do it together with us, I think that would be very fruitful and would look good. It's very useful in addition to being a good thing to show that we are actually collaborating. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Helen? You have to wait in line, Osman.
So one of the goals of these arenas is to apply for larger projects, for example, EU projects.
Yeah.
But then how have they, or NMBU, envisioned that will take place? I mean, who's going to be the partner? Is it actually a faculty that is a partner in a project, or is it NMBU? Because I mean, this is always a problem when you apply for EU projects, is that you can only have so many partners. So then it would be considered one partner. You don't want to have like, okay, 4 faculties are involved, so it's 4 Norwegian partners. I mean, that would never happen.
No,
So
no.
have they thought about that?
The way we've done it in CU Green is that NMBU is the partner, and then Mina is the lead faculty and distributes the resources we get to the other faculties.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, are we now starting the discussion, or?
No, we are answering questions on the expectations of NMBU. Yes, we have not started the discussion yet. Maria, you had a question. This is background for the discussion.
So yeah, Osman, you mentioned we have a website, but for example, you said go ahead and have a workshop and start planning. Is that website a place where we share ideas and communicate within the group, or would that be in a team or something? Like how would we start tomorrow to I think we should have an arena and not just do things by email.
Yes, you are quite right, and we have discussed this, that we are going to have a Teams arena for our internal communication, and the website is for external communication. Yeah, so that's important. Shall we move on to the discussion? But before that, I have 2 more participants that have joined us since we had the presentation this morning. Jorge presented himself in his presentation, but we have Siv and Odd Arne. So start with you, Siv. Just very briefly who you are and what you do. So that we all know each other when we start the discussions.
Yeah, I'm Siv Fagertun Remberg. I'm an associate professor at the Faculty of Biosciences, a colleague of Trine and Maria. Well, in this, I'm a participant here in this project, and my area of research and teaching is fruits and berries, but also urban agriculture. And I've developed 2 courses for the students, plant science students, at the bachelor level, together with many of my colleagues. For one in a general block, and this has turned out to be a course. I've had it for 5 years, and this has turned out to be a course where the students come from many different programs, study programs at NMBU. So this general block, I had students, 55 students from, I think it was 13 different study programs, from bachelor programs, master programs. So, and this is a very interesting course that I would like to discuss further on in this project also.
Yeah. Thank you, Siv. And then Odd Arne.
Yeah, my name is Odd Arne Rongli. I am Vice Dean for Research at BioVit. And I'm also, of course, married to Trine, so we have had these discussions around this arena around the kitchen table, so also a lot about the initiative for urban agriculture when we started this. Of course, as from representing the faculty, we are very proud of having this arena, and you've been able to establish this in the competition, because it's been quite a tough competition for these arenas, and they are very important instruments for the university. That's why it's putting a lot of effort into this, and expectations for, as we saw. So I'm anxious to follow this arena, and it's a very challenging and very broad, multidisciplinary, but very timely when we see all the focus on this. I couldn't follow this from the start because I was part of a workshop that the Ministry of Agriculture had this morning on sustainable food systems, so that I followed together with the Dean. So there is a focus on these issues everywhere in the society. So it will be very interesting to follow. So I wish you good luck.
Thank you, Odd Arne. We actually heard a presentation on urban agriculture in EPSO meeting, this is the European Plant Science Organization in Greece a couple of years ago, from a German professor. And Odd Arne and I looked at each other in the break and said, we are going to have something like that at NMBU. Yeah, so this is a world trend with urban agriculture. And we have found the right time to launch the master, I think. So we were lucky in that sense. Okay, now we move on to the discussion, and Osman has already asked for the. Didn't you ask for? No. We have two people.
Yeah, actually, I think we have to rather quick, or I think at least, get some presentation material. For instance, we need a presentation of GreenStar, which we can use ourselves in different occasions or meetings or whatsoever. So communication in general, I think this is very important in the start phase, actually. As you said, that we are eager to present and tell about and blah, blah, blah. So highlight the work with communication. I think that's important. Maybe we should have a small group which can work together with Hugo, for instance, with that. And I can participate in such a group if that's suitable. Another thing I think we should reflect on is alliances, because the ambitions here are great. So think about, okay, inside NMBU, who are the alliances? Not only the arenas, the other arenas, but for research groups or whatsoever, which then can help us in a way. So first inside NMBU, and then outside NMBU, who are our allies out there? Because I think we will, to fulfill the expectations from from the leaders at NMBU, we have to really be quick actually on getting ourselves alliances out there. So and that could both be done per work package, but also of course for the complete arena, because there might be different alliances for the different work packages.
Oh yes.
So I think that's an important point, actually, at least as I see it.
For sure, there will be different alliances in the different work packages. Yeah. I have one comment. You are totally right. Good suggestions. I have one comment on the fact that that they have high ambitions on our behalf. We have an advantage from the other arenas that we are building upon the National Center for Urban Agriculture. So we already have a network both inside and outside NMBU, but the challenge for us is to broaden it, make it wider and more inclusive from other disciplines than those who feel that urban agriculture is a natural home. So that's one challenge. But we are developing alliances within the National Center for Urban Agriculture and the sustainable future for that arena or center as well. So we are gaining some experiences there, and people are very interested when we talk to possible partners outside. And I think I can add that We should include as soon as possible NIBIO, Veterinærinstituttet, Nofima, and these research institutions that are in our vicinity. They should be included and taken in as partners. It is still NMBU's arena, but it will be stronger if we build on the competences with all campus. Yeah. Who else would like to add something? Yes, Jon, that's behind you.
Just a quick question. Since I am more or less an engineer, I like to have concrete.
More or less an engineer.
So I wonder what is the concrete goal? How much production, or how many projects, or what is the goal for the... and if we take this a little bit further, what kind of, in terms of sustainability, how much should we save according to CO2 equivalence, for instance?
For instance.
Yeah.
Well, the answer to that, Jon, is that NMBU didn't ask us for concrete goals, and so we didn't provide it. But it's up to us to set those concrete goals. And as I've said many times today, it is work in progress. And I think that those of us who wrote the application and got it launched, it's sort of just a framework. It's up to you and us together and separately in the different work packages to actually fill it with the goals and ambitions that we have to meet the goals and ambitions for NMBU, but they never ask for such accountable numbers. And when they didn't ask for it, we didn't provide it. Surprise. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Ebenezer?
Yeah, thank you, Trini, for letting me be here, in spite of the fact that I got a message quite late yesterday. One thing that I want to build on from what you said is you are so welcome to newcomers. Some of us just joined like 6 months on, and we didn't get the opportunity to hear of this. So my question is, how do I come in, and to who and how? For instance, based on the discussions that is floating around, do I enter with some kind of a new course that I'm developing, or with some research proposals? And then just as my colleague said, for us as engineers, where do we fit in terms of all the packages? Yeah. So I'm sorry I'm bombarding you with a series of questions, but I can take them step by step if you want. Yeah.
It's a very good and very huge question. And I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. I think the way forward is that we all operate within our fields and see if we get an idea or a project proposal, you can think about what you've heard today, which of these work packages could fit in, one or more, or all. And you can approach the work package leaders and present your idea and ask is this a good idea? And then when you have other colleagues that you would like to include, because we all do that when we are building projects, we are all, I sometimes like some very simple analogs. One person asked me, how did you go about picking these work packages and the leaders? And Osman and I, we were discussing with leaders and asked, and then it emerged. And then if we saw that we needed some field to have a whole picture, I said it's like collecting Pokemon cards. If you miss one card, you really go for that. And then we started searching for work package leaders for that particular thing that we were missing. And so that's how you would go about if you had a project, for instance. That's a very concrete thing. If you have colleagues that think that, oh, this sounds like a good place to network, then it is an open network, and you are very welcome to bring people in into the work packages. And so we will start collecting people in that would like to join the different work packages, and it is possible to join more than one work package. So there's no limitations really. The sky is the limit here. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a follow-up question, does that mean that you wouldn't want to create some kind of an extension of a package?
Well,
for instance, if we're looking at a building group, for instance,
yeah, you could have that. Yeah.
Where we could have maybe a new leader coming on board, to develop that part as that portion as the arena.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, then I could talk to Roberto.
And a building group, for instance, could be a combination of Roberta's group and perhaps Helen's with recycling. And perhaps people in Realtech who are you are substituting for Roberto Tomasi.
Yes.
Yeah. So he will then, and your group will be part of it. So you could create, and if there is a work package that is missing that you think we should have, why not promote it? And there's. To me, the more people we engage, the better.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as we are keeping in good respect of each other. That's if people start making trouble, then. But I don't expect that. I've never experienced that actually.
No.
It's okay. Yeah, we should be open with people.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Solveig.
Yes, so just adding to this discussion, I think I just wanted to explore with you, Trine, if this is a way of thinking that the questions that are being raised might be one way to think when we are, when you provided us with the Gantt sheet or the project management tool, and when we are going about our work, refining our own goals that we are supposed to provide in that tool, that is maybe the phase of the project where we think more specifically about what are the specific goals, because obviously this project is a more or less organic matter that is evolving. So I think maybe defining those goals in that project management is the right phase to do it. And also I would also think that thinking about early success stories that can help us with the visibility, which was one of the things that Siri Fjella mentioned is important for NMBU and all of us, of course, that we reach quite early on like specific stories that we can talk about when of course I'm very happy to discuss what is the success story, how do we talk about that, or what goes into creating that, but then working with specifying what that could be.
Yeah, the low-hanging fruits should be expressed as early as possible, and the success stories can be small and they can be large. And what springs to mind is the school gardens. It's something that will be launched amongst the first things, but there could be small achievements along the way that would be interesting to launch. And for instance, Helen, I am on the board of Indre Østfold Renovasjon, and they have asked if they could get in touch with students that could be in entrepreneurship with them. And I said the best person that could possibly look for students would be you. So I sent your address to him. And such a small story like that, if you find somebody, we could put it on the news that now NMBU has found a student for Indre Østfold Renovasjon. Yeah, I mean it's a way of demonstrating what has been achieved in small and large way. Yeah, and the possibilities for others. Then other avfalls or waste companies maybe see, oh, that's a good idea, then let's move. So it makes us visible too when we tell the world about such things. Yeah. And to your other point, Solveig, about the project management, I forgot to say that, but when you use those tools, please look for, you can have long-term goals, but try and look for milestones that are for the coming year. 12 to 18 months is the longest horizon you should put in a milestone chart. Okay, but you can have long-term goals all the same, and then you revise it, and then you move forward. Yeah. Osmund.
Just first of all, or not, yeah, a small follow-up on you about being an engineer. A very concrete thing we should do is to get overview over coming calls from both EU and the Research Council, so that we know, okay, if we are going to apply for something, we know we now have 6 months or 4 months or blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So an overview over relevant calls, and that will be very, very many because we are so broad.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Another thing, talking about innovation, the FFUE. We have Nils here on innovation, but we miss actually here today Eiki Deverste. So we must remember them as well.
I had them in my presentation.
Yeah, I mean here around the table.
Oh, around the table. Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
right.
of course we have them in our sheets here, but
I could throw that back at you, Osman. You were also in the planning.
And then maybe something we might need to reflect on. I'm not quite sure, but it's of course now we have met for the first time. We have to build our internal confidence, but we also might think a little about loyalty, because we might come in a position where the arena is in competition with the interest of the faculty or the institute. I mean, talking about calls, for instance, or projects. Yeah. Because some might find that, oh, I think I'd rather go with my faculty on this application than the arena. Mm. So I think we should reflect and think about and talk about that. How do we handle this loyalty aspect in this arena? To reach the ambitions and goals, we actually need lots of projects. So I just want to mention that.
Yeah. That's an interesting aspect. Of course, we should think about it, but I think that you would always benefit from the interdisciplinarity in the arena. And I think that research projects and education projects and innovation projects in the future will be built on more than one discipline. So I have, but of course many of our faculties have many disciplines within the faculty. Yeah, you can be aware of it and we can discuss it. But I'm optimistic by nature, and I think that having such an arena is a possibility of broader networking than just within the faculty.
Just a small comment. I absolutely agree with that, and I think also then having external partners who actually ask for the interdisciplinarity would help us to solve that challenge. If it is a challenge, I don't know, but still.
And actually, external partners can ask for more partners from within than we were willing to or thought about in the beginning. So they will challenge the interdisciplinarity for sure. They don't look at the faculty boundaries at all. Yeah, Hugo?
Could I just bring up a suggestion? I think one of the sort of interesting challenges as we begin is for everyone to have a good overview, perhaps a visual overview of all the resources that are actually in front of us. So I'd sort of want to suggest that if the interest is there, that we find a visual tool as well as Teams where we can create a communal mind map of sorts and we can have each in our own little blob with our strengths and our interests, and we can start connecting the dots in a very visual way so that we have a broad view of the resource map that is what we're actually doing. So I sort of hope that we're, and there are always going to be a pain in the beginning. Everything is sort of a pain, but as we move through it, I think removing the friction and getting that overview is going to be super important, because what we have here is quite special, I think. So a visual tool for that would be, I sort of hope that we'd be up for doing that, going through the phase of those new sort of softwares, but just finding the appropriate one. I'd really recommend that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And this is why I engaged Hugo as an architect, because he has a different competence from me. So he knows about these tools and can bring them in. So it's so important to broaden the aspects. So thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, Helen.
Yeah, I agree to Osmund's little warning about the competitiveness that is important to be aware of. But also, and here NMBU as a central unit, I hope that what they aim for with these arenas is that we'll get programs that develop students, and I'm thinking about the educational part, that we develop students that are fit for society or society's needs, and it's not so fixed to those faculties, because we've seen a development at the campus that has become more, this is our students, this is our subjects, and that we really, I mean, this is such a unique thing about this university, that we have had this possibility to take these different subjects. So also when you talked about one of the deliverables of these arenas is to develop a master or PhD course, that NMBU as a central unit has to take this responsibility to facilitate that we collaborate rather than compete.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you. And I do think that NMBU's leadership is thinking along those lines. And that's why they wanted more than that. You needed to be involved in more than one faculty in order to get these arenas. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an arena for NMBU, it would be an arena for a faculty. So they are very much promoting that, and I know that they have started work with the model for budgeting in NMBU, and one of the things that we are discussing in the DECO project is how to, when we have inter-faculty courses, how do we divide the monies? So I am sure that that group that has, there are 3 deans, your dean, my dean, and your dean, are involved in coming up with a proposal for a new budget model at NMBU. And I would urge you, the 2 of you, because I am poking my dean, to really take interdisciplinarity into consideration, and how should we promote that? Because after the budget model, the old budget model came in place, the departments and the faculties, when they came, have been closing down around their fences and try to keep their students within that fence, and that does not benefit the students, and I don't think it benefits NMBU either. It seems that we have reached the end of, what's the time? 10 minutes to 2? Okay. Unless you want to kill those 10 minutes sitting in silence, you either have to come up with a question or a comment, or we'll say that we call it a day. Seems like you are all in favor of calling it a day. Then I will wrap it up by again thanking you for coming, thanking you for all your contributions and your questions and discussion points and participation. I am sure that we're going to achieve great things together. We have the right mindset and the possibilities to do this, and I'm very proud to help facilitate this, and together we will reach the stars. Thank you for today.